This is Chief Carol Beeson from the Shelton Police Department.
And Chief Ryan Sperling, Mason County Sheriff's Office. Welcome.
As promised, we're going to do another video to describe one of the new laws that's going into effect next week. Today we're going to talk about House Bill 1054. But before that, we want to give you guys some information on our mutual WASPIC accreditation.
Much like if you subject yourselves to a so-called audit, when you go into the doctor's office and have an expert check you to see if you're doing everything right to stay healthy, and if there's any abnormalities or any problems with your body, they let you know. We, as Mason County Sheriff's Office and Shelton Police Department, voluntarily, long before these laws were put out, subjected ourselves to the scrutiny of an audit, so to speak, from what is called the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs and Police. And they have a lot of standards that we have to abide by.
Overall, there's over 100 standards that we have to reach every year in order to maintain our accreditation. But there are 4 that we thought the folks of Mason County would be most interested in. The first one we want to talk about is our use of force statistics. And recently, Sheriff Salisbury and I did a video on iFiber One where we talked about how often, or more accurately, how often officers on our departments use force. In the Shelton Police Department, for every 1,000 calls that we go to, officers use force less than 5 times for every 1,000 calls. So that means 99.995% of the time, officers go to calls and they resolve those calls without ever having to use any kind of force. I think that's pretty incredible.
It is, and Mason County Sheriff's Office is at about a 0.3, so we're just a little bit lower, but we also do more call volume. So we have to report that to WASPIC every year.
We also keep statistics on pursuits. We both agencies understand that pursuits is one of the most dangerous things that we get involved in. And so we understand how important it is to understand how many we're getting into, what kind of crimes people have committed, and what the outcomes of those pursuits are as far as were there accidents, were there injuries, because we want to make sure that when we're doing our jobs, we are being very safe in how we do that to protect our communities.
One of the other ones that we have to report is bias-based policing. And the way we do that is we take the demographics from a census on what our community has for race, gender, all those different things, and then we compare that to our contacts and how many people were stopping out on the patrol for speed violations, and make sure that there's a correlation between the demographics and what we are doing, and it's not unbalanced. And that has to be reported as well, and we've been very consistent with the demographics within the communities.
And another one that we talk about is our complaint investigation. So anytime a citizen wants to file a complaint about the service they got from an officer, or we find something internally that an officer has either violated policy or done something wrong, we keep logs of all of those complaints and the outcomes of those complaints as well.
And that body, the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police, audit those documents, and we can't just make them up. We have to show the entire trail, the radio logs, everything that we've done to get those numbers, and they say whether or not we're falling in what is called industry standard and best practices. And so far we have been, and that's a requirement to maintain our accreditation. Now we're going to take a transition into the House bill and hit the highlights that are going to affect you. There are more things listed in there, but these are the ones that are going to most affect you as citizens of Mason County.
The first one that we want to talk about is pursuits. And basically, this new law is going to restrict the circumstances in which an officer can get into a pursuit. As we said earlier, pursuits are one of the most dangerous things that we do. So honestly, we think it's really prudent that officers really determine whether or not the danger that a person poses that's in that vehicle outweighs the danger that they are going to put themselves, the occupants of that vehicle, and the community in. So we want officers to be very, very particular about when they initiate a pursuit.
One of the other things, I really do not believe this was the intent of the law, but it's an unintended consequence, and that is that our less lethal shotguns, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically a shotgun that'll shoot a beanbag. For example, we had an incident where a pursuit came out of Jefferson County, and the individual had a knife, and he was charging at officers. We were able to use not a real shotgun or a real firearm, but we were able to use a shotgun that shot a beanbag, and it hit the individual, and they stopped and didn't attack. We did not have to shoot them. those, and again, I think it's unintended, those have been taken away from all law enforcement because of the caliber of the shotgun, along with our gas distribution guns that we use in hostage situations. So that's going to be something hopefully the legislature will address in January.
And in the near distant future, there's going to be a model policy for how we can use our canines in the field. So at the moment, we are still waiting to get what those guidelines are going to be as far as when it's going to be appropriate to use a police dog when we contact citizens out in the field.
And then the last one that we're going to cover today, again, you can go to the link, but the last one we'll cover today is it does limit the use of tear gas at demonstrations. And that hasn't been an issue really. I don't think we've even used tear gas at demonstrations in Mason County in the last couple years, so it hasn't been an issue for our citizens, but it has been in other communities, and it does limit the use of tear gas.
And that's all we have for you on this bill. Which one do you want to cover next?
I'm not sure. We'll surprise you.
So stay tuned. Next week we'll have another video. And as always, if you have any questions for us, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you.